shoot, it's great to see everybody fired up to be back with the players in the building. Obviously an exciting time in the city. The Pacers making the playoffs, congrats to them, Coach Carlisle, his staff. What they've done to put themselves in position to make the playoffs is awesome. We're going to be fired up cheering for them. Caitlin Clark getting drafted here is going to be awesome. So a really exciting time for the city and looking forward to the future. So ready when you guys are.
Shane, how much more prepared are you year two than year one? I mean, coming in today on all this.
Yeah, no, definitely more prepared. Been through it once, now going through it for a second time. Obviously, there's still things that'll come up that'll be new. Every year is a new year, but definitely more prepared this year, for sure.
You talked about the standard that was set last year, and that has to be reset every year. Does that start today?
Yeah, it started yesterday in our team meeting, just talking about the culture again and what we're all about, and the character, the preparation, consistency, and being relentless. And team rules, I got 2 team rules: be on time and treat people with respect, and that's what we're about. And told the guys yesterday, shoot, determination never rests, and that's what we're about. And it starts right now.
That's a short list of rules.
That's it. You don't want to have too many rules, right? It's pretty simple, right? Be on time. Time's valuable in this league. It's valuable in life, and time's valuable. So make sure you're on time. Don't be late to things, and then treat people with respect, which goes back to character.
When you have success or some success in your first year as a head coach, how much does it propel you? Well, I guess how much does it help you to have credibility in the room when you come back to year 2 and that kind of thing? You don't have to reassert that, I guess.
Yeah, I think you got to earn the respect every day and every year, from your peers. Nothing in this league is given to you, and you got to go out and earn it every single day. And you guys have heard me say this before, but every day is a job interview, and you got to attack it that way and be determined in everything you do, from off-season program, the weight room, the training room, meeting rooms, going on that practice field, and getting better is the main goal.
Does it make it easier having so few new faces?
I do. I think it's huge. You guys heard me talk about it a while back, but the continuity, getting those guys back, congrats to all those guys we got back. It was awesome to get those guys back because they're really good players. And the continuity and the relationships you build with players in this league, sometimes it's hard. You get a lot of turnover, year in and year out, and to have a lot of our guys back is huge. The relationships that we've built with those guys are going to continue to get stronger throughout this season, this off season, and into the future. So fired up about that.
Talk about continuity. Didn't have a lot of that on the field, John Taylor and Anthony Richardson last year, but how much do you think just having that runway this year, having both in the building right now and working towards
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. You guys have heard me, the excitement I got about, those 2 guys along with the rest of our football team, but to get those guys reps in the off-season program and going into training camp and getting the feel for each other in the backfield is going to be critical to our success moving forward.
What have you learned about DeForest Buckner and maybe his work habits that you've seen over the last year?
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about him. I mean, he's the definition of a pro, is what he is. Everything he does with a sense of purpose. He does it with urgency. The way he takes care of his body, the way he performs, week in and week out, not only in the meeting rooms on the practice field, but on game days. Is obviously he shows up and makes a ton of plays. So to get him back secured for the next couple of years is huge for our franchise.
Is he underrated?
I don't think so. I think he's one of the best in the league and probably one of the best to ever do it when it's all said and done.
These time leaders like Buck and Zaire Franklin, does that set an example for the rest of the locker room?
Yeah, it's huge. Like I said, to have those guys coming back, 2 huge leaders on our football team is big, especially in the locker room, having that voice, those veteran leaders, that voice in the locker room. Those young guys see the work habits that those guys have, and you kind of piggyback off those guys. You get a young guy that comes in, that we draft, and you see those veteran leaders and why they've been playing so long, why they've been playing at a high level, because they do things the right way, and then obviously they make plays on Sunday.
What have been your discussions with AR on where he is and your plan moving forward the next few weeks?
Yeah, it's a good question. He's in a really good spot. Had really good discussions that I'll obviously keep private, but he's in a really good spot. Shoulder's feeling good. Should be good to go for practices like we talked about earlier. He'll be out there throwing, but we'll limit, we'll obviously monitor it, make sure we're smart with that, but he's in a really good place.
Will you have to hold him back? sure he's gonna.
Oh, yeah.
If you want 15 throws, he's gonna have 25.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he's a competitor. I mean, I think most guys that are competitors that want to be great are going to want to push themselves. But again, we're just going to have to monitor it, and we'll go from there.
What's the significance for him of maybe this stretch that he didn't get last year, the meetings and just some of the
Yeah, it's big. It's not new for him, right? He's heard the terminology, going through those meetings right now, just going through it and quizzing, and he's all over it. So we've got a good foundation going into this offseason and going into the season. So it's been good.
I know they limit what kind of contact you can have with players before you get to this, and you can talk to them, but not about
Yeah,
football.
right.
I'm sure your wheels have been turning though all these months. Was this kind of a long time coming for you to be able to get your hands back on them and have those discussions? And
Yeah, it's awesome. There's just not only just him, but all the guys, right? I mean, just to get back in the building, the off-season program is huge, and to get in there and talk football, with these guys again, and you start from the ground up every year. Shoot, we're talking about how to get in a huddle. As simple as that may sound, right? It's like, oh shoot, remember that you line up here and the tight end's over here. I mean, it's simple stuff, right? But shoot, it's been a little bit of time, and you go through those little things, and because sometimes, shoot, you get, especially, when the draft comes, you get the rookies, and it's like, here's the huddle, here's the formation. So you go through that stuff again, just reminders more than anything, and then you really start to dive into the details of the systems.
Shane, with all you guys are expecting from AR and Taylor, it's easy to forget that they didn't do much at all last year.
Right.
Off season and training camp and all. What did they miss, and what will they benefit from being on the field together now?
I think the communication part is huge, right? Just them being in the backfield together, communicating that way, the ball handling aspect of it is big. I mean, obviously that's part of their deal, right? They're going to have a lot of ball handling stuff that we got to get wired up with those two guys in the backfield, whether it's handing the ball off or, zone read play, whatever it may be, but going through that process, throwing to them out of the backfield, all those different things. So that part's going to be huge, this offseason and training camp going into the season.
How do you feel about just having the offensive line, the continuity there as well, to come back and obviously have some guys who play at a high level? It's
big. It's huge to have all those guys. I mean, to have the same guys coming back is big, and obviously they played at a high level. Credit to those guys. Credit to Tony and Chris Watt for coaching them. But got a lot of faith in those guys. We got some good leaders up there, good veteran presence, and they're only going to continue to get better.
Will Braden be available? Like for spring stuff?
Yeah, he should be good, but I'm not going to get into details of all of the injuries.
How much more have you and the coaching staff been able to be involved in the draft this year? Now that you guys are already entrenched here, you're not new to the spot. You can kind of focus.
Yeah, that part's been good. Had some time, obviously, to go out and see some players. Last year we were installing a system and getting all that stuff and a coaching staff, but it's been good. The communication with Chris and his staff through the draft process has been awesome. It's an exciting time. It really is. I love the draft, and it's going to be here before we know it, next Thursday, so going to be more fired up about it.
We're not asking you what your favorite traits are in a quarterback for 3 straight months.
It's good. Like I said, the draft's exciting, and we'll see where it goes. I said this last year, but people always ask, like, hey, who are you guys going to draft? I mean, we'll know next Thursday. See how it plays out. You never know how the draft plays out. So,
what are your favorite traits in a receiver?
It's a good question. I think quickness and play strength is huge on wideouts, and obviously hands are critical. Route running ability, the fluidity to get out of breaks is big. So we go through that, but there's a lot of different traits in a receiver, and you kind of look at those guys and try to find the best one, see where it goes.
Your rotation last year was 3, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather be 4, 5 with guys getting maybe more snaps?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. You know what I mean? Obviously, usually you got your 3 guys, and then that 4th guy is your special teams guy. It's usually how the league works, right? 4th and 5th guys, but you go out and compete and see what happens.
With your background, obviously, in offense, but when you're looking at the draft, is there a balance in, boy, I really want to help my offense, even though maybe there's a defensive player? How do you balance that?
It's a good question. I think, honestly, whatever gives us the best chance to win. I really do believe that. Even though I'm an offensive backgrounded guy, I do believe that you take, a really good player. It don't matter offense or defense. A player that's going to help you get better.